Hello and welcome to all of you. You're watching Tech24. I'm Julia Seeger. In this edition, we're going to take a quick look back at the tech breakthroughs that occurred in 2020. And as you'll see, it is not all about COVID-19. Then we'll take a glimpse into what lies ahead for 2021. A hint, as we enter the era of data, say hello to the Internet of Behaviours. And in Test 24, we tried the connected sports sunglasses by the French startup Julbo. From distance and elevation to heart rate and pace, it showcases 7 different real-time items of data directly in the field of vision. Now, when you think of scientific advances in the year 2020, the first that springs to mind, of course, might be the startling speed at which various vaccines against COVID-19 have been developed. But this year has actually been filled with progress, from unearthings in Egypt to genome editing. Peter O'Brien and Alison Sargent brings us some of their favorite innovations from 2020.
The deep satisfaction of cracking open a sarcophagus for the first time after 2,500 years.
Lovely decorations almost everywhere.
Luckily for us, there are plenty to get through. 2020 was a bumper year for Egyptologists, with more than 160 perfectly sealed mummies found beneath the Saqqara burial site, and more to come. From deep below ground to way over our heads, last year also saw a shower of news about space. One of the most impressive being the first manned commercial space flight, with SpaceX starting to deliver astronauts to the ISS.
Bravo on a magnificent moment in spaceflight history, and on the start of a new journey.
Sometimes, though, you don't need humans at all, as machine brains proved to be more clever than our own. Thanks to DeepMind's AlphaFold, AI can now predict how proteins form the shapes that perform all of life's basic functions, a problem we've struggled with for decades. While in the future we might be designing our own proteins, we're already fiddling with what's inside of them, genes. Emmanuelle Charpentier and Jennifer Doudna were awarded a Nobel Prize for developing CRISPR-Cas9 genome editing, a technology which made several breakthroughs last year, including the first clinical trials in modifying human blood cells to fight cancer. Other labs have been cooking up innovation more literally. Cultured chicken made its restaurant debut in December after Singapore became the first country to allow the sale of meat concocted without slaughtering any animals.
And let's now welcome our in-house expert, Peter O'Brien. Hello, Peter, and welcome.
Hi, Julia.
Thank you indeed for that report. I know that you contributed to it. While you were researching, what were some of the most fascinating technology that you came across?
All the CRISPR stuff that we've been looking at, all the steps forward we've been making have really amazed me. Like last summer when it marked the first year after a woman from Mississippi got CRISPR treatments for her sickle cell disease and is still doing well and very healthy.
That's true, and it's a technology that was actually developed a few years ago, and more people are using it, sometimes individuals, through what's called biohacking. We actually have a full show of Tech24 about that topic that you can watch again on our website. Okay, Peter, we're going to try to make predictions for the year to come. It's always something tricky to do, but let's give it a try. What do you see going forward in this new year?
Yeah, as you say, never easy to look into a crystal ball like that. But let's start with big tech. We know that there's governments around the world coming for the likes of Amazon, Facebook, Google. The calls for them to be broken up are mounting, and we're probably going to see more sanctions and more regulation to do with privacy. I know for one, Joe Biden is interested in looking at this because he's been very critical of big tech in the past.
Now, some of these big techs and also other companies in Silicon Valley specifically have gotten a huge boost because of remote work, because there were lockdowns throughout the world. Are we set to keep on working from home?
Yeah, we are. I've got one survey here, which is the CCS Insight Survey, which says that 60% of Western businesses believe more than a quarter of their workforce will continue working from home at least some of the time. So that means as well that there's a big market for virtual workplace tools opening up. And what we might even start to see is companies buying from other companies toolkits to help their employees work from home. That might even include routers that you as an employee will have to install at home, and that allows your work to be more secure and more reliable.
Now, in the predictions of the last 3 years, I'd say we'd always hear Internet of Things. We can now set that aside. Something new has come up. What is it called?
I'm really sorry, Julia, but I'm going to have to introduce you to another new acronym. I know we do so many of them already, but it's the IOB, the Internet of Behaviours. And what this is all about is our behaviours used as data points to be fed into the algorithms that we interact with every day. Now, probably the most famous example of this existing already is China's social credit system, which might soon affect a fifth of the world's population. Outside China, we're already seeing the IOB in things like usage-based insurance schemes and ratings-based services like Airbnb and Uber. So who knows where the IOB could go this year?
So we're becoming part of the machine almost. Now, of course, big companies, states are using all of this data, but not only. I mean, artificial intelligence is perhaps going to be harnessed by everyone.
Yeah, let me name you a new trend that we're going to see more of, which is AI for all. And this is essentially the democratization of AI. So businesses selling machine learning packages to other businesses, no matter what their size, their budget, their computing know-how, to allow them to use AI for their own company. So Dreamcorp in Paris is a good example of this. They have a service called Brain. They've sold it to banks. They've sold it to insurance companies. And what it does is it allows them to use AI-based recommendations to generate sales.
Now, we talk a lot about computing power and trying to increase that more and more. What will it be used for?
Yeah, I think increased automation is a given. We've already seen it, and we're going to see more and more of it. But I'm not just talking about automated cars and taxis. I'm talking about entire factories, supply chains, and services. And with all of this stuff we've been talking about, I can't not mention 5G. It's going to make all of this much more efficient and quick.
Well, thank you very much for that, Peter. Actually, one of the industries that really took off in 2020 and that could continue to prosper in 2021 is virtual tourism. During lockdowns, many people started turning to VR headsets and virtual tours to escape and keep on discovering the world, as France 24's Selena Sykes and our colleagues over at France 2 explain.
Egypt's famed pyramids may feel further away than ever, with travel grinding to a halt during the pandemic. But an alternative is allowing travel lovers to explore the world from the comfort of their own homes. Today, this family in Paris is visiting Cairo Museum thanks to virtual technology.
It's nice to be able to escape, especially at the moment. It also really makes me want to organize a holiday very soon.
On the other side of the screen, 5,000 kilometers away, this guide is giving a tour of Tutankhamun's treasures on social media. An hour-long private tour costs around €20. Archaeological sites, museums and natural wonders are all available to discover at the touch of a button, like the Northern Lights in Lapland in Finland, captured and shared online for free by this photographer.
People can't come to Lapland, so we decided to bring it to you, so you can see the Northern Lights live, in real time.
Virtual travels don't always involve sitting on the sofa. Amélie Chatinier invested €200 in this virtual reality headset, with cycling routes from around the world.
I get to transport myself to a route in the mountains in Crete. Let's go.
With the technology, she gets to explore elsewhere while exercising in her living room.
I'm on the road, I see trees, I see the mountains in the background, I see the sea on the right. All it's missing is a bit of fresh air, and you'd believe you were really there. I feel like I'm traveling. I'm seeing what's happening in the region and really discovering new landscapes I would have never had the opportunity to explore.
Escapism that is providing some consolation for travel lovers before they can start globetrotting in person once again.
And let's move on to Test 24. Now on set today, we have something for those who are able to get away, are athletic, and have a fair bit of money to spare. We have connected glasses that connect via Bluetooth to your cell phone and that can be used on all outdoor terrains. Tell us more about these incredible glasses that give you a very futuristic look right now.
Yeah, I'm feeling quite space age right now. I've got these sport sunglasses on. They're the Evade One by the company Jolbo. And what these have is they've got a HUD, a heads-up display. So as I'm looking at you right now, actually over your face are all these statistics. So I can see how fast I'm going, which is obviously 0 kilometers an hour. I can see the time I've been riding for. I mean, the main usage for this has to be cycling. You can see how fast you're going. It's got all the stats you've usually got on your odometer or your GPS, but actually on the glass itself, it's projecting it onto there. Now, it's got a 12-hour runtime, so that's perfect for a day out cycling. But of course, you have to remember to recharge them, and they're a little bit more cumbersome, I'd say. They feel like I've got a bit more on my face than I usually do when I'm out cycling with wearing sunglasses. And at €500, it is more expensive than having, say, a nice pair of sports sunglasses and a GPS or odometer as well. But I really appreciate what they're doing here, and I'm hoping to see more things like this in the future for cheaper.
Now we have just enough time to talk a little bit about this torpedo-looking gadget.
Yes, this is the Temo, and this is another gadget for if you don't want to cycle away from your problems, but if you want to sail away. So it's basically a propeller, as you can see here. But it's very lightweight and it's very portable, and it's electric, so you recharge it and you can attach it to the back of any small boat. It has the thrust of 3 rowers, and it lasts for about 80 minutes on one charge. So although it won't last you all day, it's good for those little trips back and forwards, say from the jetty to your massive yacht, as we all have, Julia.
As happens every day in my life, of course.
Yeah, exactly. And it is, on the expensive side, €1,450, about roughly the same as an regular outboard motor, but they're really going for convenience with this.
Very well. Thank you very much indeed for that. It brings us to the end of this edition of Tech 24. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.